These laboratories employ chemists, microbiologists, bacteriologists, histopathologists. They analyze materials sent to them by the meat inspectors in the plants. What's more, these laboratories employ not only the familiar tools of the scientific profession, but more and more use new highly sensitive electronic devices for complex tests and precise answers. Let's take a look at some of these people seeking answers to the questions of inspectors. For instance, they may be asked to determine the wholesomeness of spices or other non-meat substances, or to check for the presence of foreign materials and molds. They may be asked to measure the protein content of a product. It's a simple test for the chemist and an important protection for you, the consumer. A scientist may be called on to determine the species from which a sample of meat is derived. Is it beef, pork, mutton? This record may confirm the inspector's suspicion that pork is included in a product labeled all beef. Whatever the finding, it goes to the inspector, who decides how to classify the product. He controls the labeling of all federally inspected products to assure accurate information for the consumer. The department also gives close attention to imported as well as domestic products. This technician prepares a foreign sample to be tested for possible residues left by pesticides. Since chemicals are absorbed into the meat fat, the first step is to draw off the fat. The chemist heats a sample in an oven and pours the fat into a flask. To this, he adds solvents and extracts chemicals from the fat. He then applies the extract to chromatic paper. This is tedious, time-consuming work, but it pays dividends in consumer protection. The chemist now exposes the paper to ultraviolet light. This reveals the presence of any pesticide. Each one produces its own characteristic pattern in definite positions. When chemicals are shown to be present, another machine, a gas chromatograph, can be used to determine how much. This device is so sensitive that minute traces, even 1 part in a million, can be recorded. Such highly sensitive and precise laboratory methods increase the meat inspector's ability to assure thorough protection for your meat supply. Here is a safeguard we hope we'll never have to use. Meat inspectors throughout the country are being trained and equipped to check for possible residues of radioactive fallout in case of an accident or national emergency. And to support them, laboratory personnel are able to run tests on meat samples. Here's the way it's done. This capsule of ash represents what was once a 5-pound steak. An anti-coincidence scaler, or a beta counter, can measure any significant amount of radioactivity in the ash. This is the kind of intensive laboratory testing that supports the meat inspector and affords you unseen protection. The inspector also makes sure you get what you pay for. USDA inspection requires that food products containing meat have to be labeled properly. These labels accurately describe the contents. This provision in the law safeguards your interests. It helps protect you from misinformation or deception. You can read for yourself what goes into the prepared meats you buy. The meat inspector makes sure that the label lists all ingredients and identifies the specific kind of meat or meats used in a product. You can be sure the processor has used at least the minimum amount of meat specified for this product. For instance, according to federal regulations, chili con carne with beans must contain at least 25% beef, based on fresh weight. Pork with barbecue sauce must have at least 50% cooked pork. Rest assured that the proper percentage is in the finished product because federal meat inspectors see that the official requirements are met. These requirements are set forth in the regulations governing the meat inspection of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Great care has been taken in establishing these rules. Equally great care is taken to maintain them. They are revised as necessary to keep up with changing times and new products. These regulations have evolved from the records of more than 50 years' experience in meat inspection. Inspection initiated and maintained to assure a wholesome product properly labeled. Specialty dishes, in addition to meeting all other requirements, must also have a reasonable resemblance to the form and taste historically established for them. Even the picture on a label must be accurate. It cannot show more meat than the package contains. Special claims must be right too. To examine label claims, Meat Inspection's own home economists test products under conditions similar to those in your own home. Take this bacon. The processor claims it will not char. It has been cured with a USDA approved synthetic sweetener. Let's watch kitchen testing at work. Yes, the claim proves to be accurate. The anti-charring statement will be allowed to appear on the label. At the U.S. Department of Agriculture, specialists carefully screen each proposed label before it may be used legally. The processor can mark it with confidence, and you, the consumer, may be certain that the meat product is clean, safe, wholesome, and truthfully labeled when it receives the stamp of approval. Prepared meats are American favorites. Favorites for convenience, favorites for nutrition, and favorites for flavor. Prepared meats are easy to serve and good to eat. They are enjoyed by almost everyone, everywhere, every day. So whenever you're out shopping for yourself or the whole family, meat products that have been approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, just look for the mark of wholesomeness.